the hidden trap of finding your purpose, and a little bit of an Islamic spin on what Islam actually says about it, guys. This is kind of what I want to talk to you about, and I've written down some of my thoughts here so I can share with you guys. You know, you hear a lot of people tell you guys, as you go through life, as you're growing up, hey, you got to make sure to find your purpose and find your reason, your purpose, and find your passion and find your blah blah blah, and all this kind of stuff. And have you ever taken the time to think, like, hey, maybe what is all this? What are they talking about? Like, what do you mean find my purpose? And you know, and I'm gonna go ahead and propose and submit to you guys that that might be a trap. That might be something that's holding you back out here for freaking a decade out here trying to find your purpose, guys. If you look back at my other video, I talk about paralysis by analysis, um, as well as some of the other concepts that I want to kind of share with you guys to get you guys thinking, to help you reframe your mindset, reframe the way you think about things as you're going through life out there, right? So that you can sharpen yourself as a tool overall, especially mentally, in order to head in the right direction and start getting the success and that results that you guys are trying to get, instead of just spinning your wheels, right? So what if let's get into it. What if the very thing you've been told is the key to happiness is to actually what sorry, let me say that again. What if the very thing you've been told is the key to happiness is actually what's holding you back, finding your purpose, right? Modern culture glorifies finding your purpose. Finding your purpose. In the other video, I also talk about work-life balance. Oh, you're trying to find that work-life balance and how you need to get that out of there and just turn that into a hustler mindset. And don't worry about work-life balance and being a good worker, being, you know, if you want to succeed out there and thrive out there and make more money than most other people are making, you're not people who are succeeding like that are not worried about work life balance. They're trying to get it. They're trying to get that bag, man. They're not worried about no work life balance. They get a call. They get a call coming in from someone who wants to pay for a service or something that they're offering for 100, 200, $300,000. They're not going to be like, oh, let me call you back. Let me give you a call back at whatever time. No, they're trying to make that deal. Hey, if you want to call me at 10 o'clock and you're ready to make that deal, and you're ready to move forward, let's freaking make that call. Let's make it happen right now, right now. It doesn't need to take 72 hours or whatever. Let's sit down and sign the dotted line. Let's get it going, dude. It doesn't matter work life balance or whatever else you think you got going on. What else are you going to do with your free time? Is there something else more important that you're trying to do with your free time, Monique? You got something else going on more important in your free time than to sign that deal and make that 500K in 10 minutes? Is there something more important that you got going on that you got to do, right? So I digress. Over here, we're talking about the purpose of life. Okay, the purpose. What's your purpose, and what is this mindset? Right? It's a myth of a singular purpose. There is no such thing as as all that stuff. Society conditions you guys to think you must find your one true calling. I gotta find my one true calling, and if I don't do it, I'm just gonna sit here and wait. I'm just gonna sit here and wait and just hope that light shines from the sky, and suddenly I magically a light bulbs come up in my head, and I found my one true calling moment. you know keep you It's a really good technique. I mean, I give props to whoever out there made us think like that, programmed us like that. Find your one true purpose calling. Wait for 3 decades for the lights to come from the sky, and suddenly, oh, that's what I want to do. No, dude. Let's start dissecting and reevaluating this, guys. This is an obsession that often leads to guilt. It leads to confusion. It leads to paralysis. Here on this channel, we're not a fan of paralysis, stagnating, idling around, waiting around for stuff. We got to go out there and test things and figure things and reach out to people who actually have proven that they know what they're doing. They have some social proof, they know what they're doing, and reaching out to them and getting them to help us, show us things that we didn't know. You don't know what you don't know, right? We're not don't be sitting around paralysis waiting for magic light bulbs to come off, right? You know, You have to get the full picture first before you can start making some other moves and whatnot. From an Islamic lens, guys, your purpose was never hidden in the first place. This is the Islamic spin I was talking about telling you guys. Your purpose was never hidden. It was never supposed to be some hidden thing that you have to go out there into the world and just figure out what your purpose and what your calling is, right? Society conditions us. You must find your one true calling. This creates anxiety when life doesn't follow a straight path, guys. Life does not follow a straight path. Something that you thought was your calling back when you were a teenager, that's not going to be the same when you're in your 20s. You think your calling is something else when you're when your 20s, your calling or your purpose. When you're in your 30s, it becomes something else. When you're in your 40s, it might become something else. When you're 50s, it might become something else. When you have a family, suddenly your calling becomes something else. Life is not a straight path. It's a winding road full of all kinds of stuff coming your way in all directions at all times, right? It's one big test from an Islamic standpoint. This life is one big test, you know? From an Islamic perspective, Islam teaches a broader, more simpler truth, guys. Your purpose is not a career. It's not none of this other stuff that's going on when you're out there, making your moves. Your purpose is to please the Creator. It's to please your Creator by listening to what your Creator has told you to do and doing things the way that your Creator has told you to do things to the best of your abilities. We're all human beings. We all make mistakes from an Islamic standpoint. The goal is not perfection. The goal is the jihad. The goal is the internal struggle to continuously try to do the best you can to please your Creator. That's what you have to do as you're going through life. There in the Quran, I believe it's chapter 51, verse 56 talks about, and I did not create jinn and mankind except to worship me. From an Islamic standpoint, guys, our purpose in life, to put the Islamic spin on it, our purpose in life is to please the Creator by worshiping the Creator. And how do you worship the Creator? As you go out there making your moves in life, you do the best you can to the best of your abilities. And hey, you might slip up every now and then, but you got to get back on that horse and keep trying. You follow the instructions. Be a good businessman, be an honest person, try to keep your word. Try to stay focused. Try not to do this. Try not to backbite. Try not to gossip. Try not to do all this kind of stuff. You know. So people get trapped chasing a perfect label, guys. My purpose is to be an entrepreneur. My purpose is to be an influencer, and my purpose is to be an artist. And my purpose is to be some kind of rapper that suddenly just takes off viral or whatever you got going on in your head. That you let other people feed you in your environment. Islam reframes this purpose. The purpose is not what you do. You could say that Islam reframes it in such a way that it says that it's your purpose is not what you do. It's how you do it, why you do it, right? The Prophet, peace be upon him, said from the religion of Islam, Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said, "Be in this world as though you were a traveler passing by." Don't cling on to things while you're here in your journey through life. Everyone's going to taste death. I'm not saying this from a depression standpoint. I understand the Western perspective. They try to avoid the idea of death and this and that, and YOLO, you only live once, and just go out and go turn into a monkey and do whatever you want out there. But in the religion of Islam, you're supposed to reflect on death. You're supposed to visit the graveyards and help with burial, funerals, and stuff like that, because it keeps you grounded in reality. It's where you want to be. You want to be grounded in reality. It lets you know that, hey, death is coming for all of us. That's a hard reality that none of us is going to escape, and you have to make sure that when you're making your moves out there, you understand this. That in the bigger picture, the bigger overall hierarchical umbrella of things, you have to make sure that you can always tie it back to what your main purpose, what your real purpose is out here, as you're trying to make all these moves and hustling and grinding. This life is temporary, guys. How long are you going to be on this earth? 80 years, 90 years, 100 years? Your purpose is to live righteously while you pass through. You were born, you grow up, you go through your difficulties, your successes, your failures, you go through life, you did the best you can while you're out here making your moves, and then you're gonna be in the grave, and the next generation is going to come on through, and they're going to do the same thing and they're going to try to make their moves. They're going to try to figure out what their difficulties were, back thousands of years ago. Their difficulties were fighting saber-tooth tigers and staying alive out there, trying to hunt and get food and all this kind of stuff. Here we're out here struggling. A lot of people out here struggling with work, trying to, whatever problems going on. AI is coming out, generative AI, chat bots, and all this kind of stuff all is the craze. And you got electric cars and all kinds of other stuff going on. Saber-tooth tigers are not the problem anymore. We got other problems. In the future, there's going to be some other problems. Right now, there's all kinds of stuff going on. So I mean, through all of it stands. No matter what's going on out here on this planet Earth, your purpose in life, from an Islamic standpoint, is it's already you already have your purpose. You're not trying to find what are your purpose. Finding your purpose is for people who are confused and out there clueless. Nobody taught them. Nobody told them these things. Out here trying to find my purpose is like some magical light come from the sky, or light bulbs, fireworks going off. Suddenly, I know what my purpose is and what my calling is, and so, okay, so this life is temporary. Your purpose is to live righteously while you pass through, not and yeah. So I mean, not to obsess over that, not to obsess over identity, guys. Islam elevates you. It elevates daily work when it's done with the right intentions. Now, when you're going out there and you're hustling and you're making your moves out there and you're doing stuff, this is a key thing that really kind of flipped a switch for me in terms of, wow, I can actually take mundane, useless things that I do out there, like taking a rock and moving it out of the way for someone, or smiling, giving a smile to someone. Instead of being out there all mean mugging everyone, maybe I could just be polite and just smile and wave if someone makes eye contact with me. You know, I didn't think that was a big deal, but from an Islamic standpoint, if you do it with the right intentions, hey, you know what? I'm not feeling good right now. I'm not really feeling like dealing with anybody right now. But I know that in the religion of Islam, that if I make it, if I make my intention right now, even though if I'm not feeling good, if my intention is I'm gonna smile at, I'm gonna go to Walmart or whatever, some grocery store or wherever, pick a place, and even though I'm not feeling good, I'm just gonna smile at whoever. I'm gonna smile and wave, or just smile and nod at, in a nice way, at anybody who makes eye contact with me. And if anyone says hi to me, I'm gonna say hi back, or maybe I'll be the first person to say hi. Just this tiny little thing of just you know becomes an act of worship, because if the intention was, I'm gonna do this because I want to please my Creator, even though I'm not feeling very good, I'm just gonna smile and wave, or smile and nod at someone, because I know that it's going to please my Creator. My Creator said even a smile can be an act of charity. Even smiling at someone is an act of charity. So because I know that, I'm just gonna make it my intention when I go to the grocery store that I'm just gonna smile. Not because I want to. I'm not doing it because I want to. I want to please my Creator. That's my intention, is to please my Creator. I'm doing it for my Creator. For the sake of God, I'm going to go ahead and smile at these random people when they smile back at me. You just turned a mundane act into an act of worship. You made a useless act an act of worship, just by having the right intention, just by consciously having the right intention. And this, guys, I don't want to get too intense with it, but this actually ties back to something called the double slit experiment in quantum physics. It's one of the experiments that caused the field of quantum mechanics and quantum physics to come about. And the long story short is, you as the observer can change the way that light behaves just by observing it, just by the act of observing it. You change the behavior, you solidify the behavior of light. You can either turn it into a particle, or a wavelength, or a wave. It either chooses one state or the other, and it only does that when you observe it, right? It can get it's really and nobody knows why. Nobody can fully explain why. Year 2025, nobody knows why. Simply the light actually knows. Light actually knows when you're looking at it. When you look at it, it changes its behavior. But when you weren't looking at it, it could have been one or the other. This is an experiment, guys. You won't want to check it out. The act of observing changes the way that matter behaves out there. That is crazy, and it's legitimate science, and it's not fully explained yet. So much so that it's the reason why the whole field of quantum physics and quantum mechanics came about. And you could philosophically tie it back to the act of intention, having the right intention, taking actions out there in the world based off of the right intentions, right? Powerful, intense stuff if you were to like take the time to like think about it. you know yeah, so wow. I mean, people get trapped chasing a perfect label: entrepreneur, influencer, artist, etc. Guys, work. The other thing I want to touch on is work. As work is, like I said, smiling is an act of worship if you do it with the right intentions, pleasing the creator. But also, work can also be an act of worship. Islam elevates daily work when done with the right intention. A lot of people out there, guys, struggling like, man, I hate going to work. I hate doing all this stuff. This is ridiculous. I don't even want to. I'm tired. I'm exhausted. I'm tired. I'm absolutely exhausted. I can't do this anymore. I'm a trash man. I'm picking up the trash every day. I got to wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning. I'm barely making enough to go by. Then I got to go to my other job and do all this kind of stuff. Hey, if you can tie it to, if you can, if you, from an Islamic standpoint, someone who is a trash man and he's a Muslim, he's not going to complain as much if he has this understanding. And you'll notice this if you come across some of these folks out there, right? They don't complain about these things because they understand that, hey, I'm not out here just picking up trash and doing this kind of stuff. I'm providing for my family. I am making moves out here, and I'm doing this. I'm providing for my family because God said that it pleases my Creator. It pleases my Creator if I go out there as a man and I collect my paychecks and I provide for my family. It pleases my Creator if I go out there and I work. It pleases my Creator that I wake up early and I grind, and I take my responsibility as a man seriously out there in the world. This pleases my Creator. So I'm not worried if I'm tired. I'm getting my reward with my Creator because I'm pleasing my Creator. When they have that, when they're out there doing that work because their mind is in the right place and they have the right intentions, game over. Doesn't matter. Someone who is grounded with that kind of mentality, you're not going to stop them. You think I'm doing this just for the paycheck? I serve a bigger purpose. I serve a bigger purpose than you and me and this whole world and everything. I'm serving the Lord of the worlds. What are you talking about? I don't need your pity. You can get out of here. Are you kidding me? Gladly I'll wake up and get that stuff done. My Creator is going to reward me when the time comes. I don't need you. I'm out here making all these moves because of my Creator. No problem. No problem. If that's the reason why I'm doing it, no problem. All day, every day, no problem. Just because the intention was grounded in the right place, right? So, earning halal income, caring for family, and striving for excellence, these all are acts of worship, and they can be turned into legitimate acts of worship instead of just mundane tasks that you're sick and tired of doing if you do it with the right intentions. The Prophet, peace be upon him, taught that even feeding your family or providing for yourself is sadaqah. Sadaqah means charity, guys, in Arabic. So your 9 to 5, your business, don't worry about what my purpose is, okay? Your 9 to 5, your business, your ambition, when done sincerely with the right intentions, becomes worship. You're out there worshiping your Creator when you're out there making your moves and hustling and grinding and working hard, trying to connect the dots, trying to make things happen. It's all an act of worship. and you gotta be out here and you gotta live righteously while you pass through here. Not to obsess over identity and all this other nonsense, though. I gotta find my identity. I gotta find my whatever, all that stuff, man. Don't let people waste your time with these kind of thoughts. Elevate. Your purpose is your purpose is already written down, and it's already you already know what it is. It's way beyond all that. It's way above all that, right? From an Islamic standpoint, redefining purpose the Islamic way. Your purpose isn't a destination; it's an orientation, bro. It's an orientation in your mind. Instead of asking, "What's my purpose?" ask, "Who am I serving?" When am I here doing all this stuff? Ultimately, if your goal is to please your Creator, every honest effort counts, even if you fail, even if it's tiring, even if it's whatever. It doesn't become tiring to me if I'm doing it with the right intentions. No one's stopping me. I don't care how. I'm not even stopping myself. It's a different conversation after that, right? You don't have to label yourself. Just walk your path with intention, with gratitude, and with excellence. Ihsan is what they call it in Islam. Ihsan, Ihsan. Okay? So the closing message for you guys, don't chase a fantasy of perfect purpose, guys. Out here wasting 3 decades trying to figure out what my purpose is and what my identity is and all this kind of stuff. Live with purpose in every moment, work hard, provide, build, but keep your heart light like a traveler passing by. Okay? Success in this life and the next comes not from chasing identity, but from aligning every action with your Creator. Let me give you, just try to give you guys the Islamic spin. Okay? That is the hidden trap that I would say of finding your purpose. The hidden trap out there, everyone out there trying to find their purpose, and what Islam kind of actually says about it and has a spin on it about. And you guys don't think this is a big deal, but it makes a big difference. This is just another mindset talk, another spin, another perspective I want to give you guys, and it makes a big difference. Something you might want to think about. And I'll go ahead and like the video, leave a comment, let me know what you guys think. Hit the subscribe button, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.